25 children took to the aisles of Walmart with members of the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service, the Sault Ste. Marie Police Association, Ontario Provincial Police, Anishinaabe Police Service, Correction Services, Canada Border Services, Batchewana First Nation Police, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on Saturday morning. It was all part of the annual Shop with a Cop event. Shop with a Cop is an annual event where law enforcement officers spend an allowance of about $100 to help children buy gifts for their families and at least one for themselves. After their shopping spree, they were then escorted in police vehicles to Gliss Restaurant, where they enjoyed breakfast while their gifts were wrapped by volunteers.
We started this 13 years ago, and we started with 14 kids, and we brought it up to 25 kids. And basically what it is we invite kids that had some hardships throughout the year to come and shop with the police officers and law enforcement officers. And from there, we hopefully they have a good experience, as well as the police officers and the law enforcement officers having a good experience. I started this back in the United States with the Fraternal Order of Police, and I saw how their program ran, and they had over 40 kids, and watching these children buying shirts and socks and mittens because they had nothing. And I thought, you know what, we have the same problems here in Canada, and that's why I brought it over here. We celebrate Christmas as a family, and some of these children that we have here today, they don't have their families. So we just want to bring our family closer to them so they could see what a family is all about. It's always great. There's always smiles on the law enforcement's eyes and faces. The children, at first they're very shy, and then by the end they're very talkative, and they're actually talking with the law enforcement officers, and that's what we want to see. I think it's also great for the community, because these children might only see us as law enforcement. They don't see us as real people, and yes, we're all real.
We're here today to shop with a cop, and this is the first time for my little ones to have fun, and hopefully they have a great experience with this, because I love this. This is amazing. I feel very privileged because I never thought my kids could enjoy something like this. I had a nephew who had done it a couple of years ago, and he loved it. So when my worker called me and said, hey, I got a constable here who wants to sign you up, I'm like, perfect. And being, a single mom, I got 4 kids. It's very difficult around this time. It's hard to provide for everything. So this is a great opportunity. I love it.
Police west of Toronto say they've laid dozens of charges against 10 people in the Toronto area after recovering 4 guns. Peel Regional Police say they located the guns after executing a search warrant in Mississauga. They say they recovered 4 different models of semi-automatic pistols and charged multiple men and women ranging from 19 to 26 years of age. Investigators say the accused are scheduled to appear in court for a total of 67 firearms-related charges. Sales of electric vehicles in Ontario have plummeted since the Progressive Conservative government cancelled a rebate last year, hampering progress toward a national target. According to data from Electric Mobility Canada, in the first 6 months of this year, sales in Ontario were down more than 55% from the same period in 2018. In the second quarter of this year, 2,933 electric vehicles were sold in the province. That's down from 7,110 in the same period last year. Quebec and British Columbia, which have their own provincial rebates, have long been leading in total sales. Ontario's figures had been increasing on par with theirs until the province's financial incentive disappeared. Under the previous Liberal government, Ontario had offered up to $14,000 back for buyers of electric vehicles, but Premier Doug Ford's government canceled it after winning the June 2018 election, saying it was going to people who could already afford expensive cars. If you were to say just weeks ago that the Hounds were on a 5-game winning streak with the last playoff spot in hand, some people may have called you a little crazy, but that's exactly where the Hounds found themselves, although a slew of bad penalties and momentum-killing goals would be too much for the Greyhounds to overcome, dropping the game and falling outside of a playoff spot to the Erie Otters by a final score of 5-2. The Sioux Thunderbirds were in action on Saturday night as they took on the French River Rapids at the John Rhodes Community Centre. Saturday night's game was also the Thunderbirds' final home game for 2019. With just 11 seconds to go in the extra frame, it would be Thunderbirds rookie forward Cooper Smeal notching his first career overtime goal, which gave the Sioux a 2-1 overtime win against French River at the John Rhodes Community Centre.
Just after 12:30 this afternoon, they pronounced him deceased.
Right as we got up there, they immediately shut down all the access routes to 9990 base. It created kind of a manic state for everyone that was kind of already up there because they had to stay up there or get escorted down, essentially.
A 45-year-old snowboarder was killed yesterday after he was caught in an avalanche that he unintentionally triggered, and he was buried, according to the Utah Avalanche Center.
It's a very steep terrain where this individual was. There were a couple people that came across a snowboard sticking out of the snow where the avalanche had taken place. They made their way to that snowboard and realized it was attached to a person. They immediately began digging, and from what we have been told from those people that did their best to help this individual, they dug down about 3 feet. We estimate, based off of the time frame, he was buried for 25 to 45 minutes. Unfortunately, just after 12:30 this afternoon, they pronounced him deceased.